Okay, so you got your Seint order. Now what? I'm going to walk you through tips and tricks for applying the makeup and longevity, and also how to set up your palette. So this is a palette 12. It holds 12 large tins. I have some demi in this back section there. So you have your palette, you have your tins that come in this cute little bag, and these are magnetic. They just slide open and pop into your palette, and you got a brush. You don't have to have a brush to apply the makeup. You can apply it with your fingers and then go in with a beauty blender and blend it all in. That is definitely one way to apply the makeup. There are so many ways though. For today, I'm going to use the 3D brush to apply, and I always have a moistened beauty blender ready to go around and pick up any excess product. You don't need to use a primer for this makeup, but if you have oily skin and you prefer to use a primer, just make sure it doesn't have silicone in it. Any primer with silicone will cause the makeup to just slide off your face after a few hours. So just pick one like the e.l.f. Power Grip or the Milk Hydro Grip. Both of those are really good and they don't contain silicone. Okay, so let's set up our palette. Let me turn it this way. You're going to place your tins in the palette. They're just magnetic and they pop in there just like that. One tip, save these lids. They come in very handy for getting out the tins. I'm notorious for sticking my fingers in mine, and they're so pretty, and there's nothing worse than having a fingernail mark in your cream makeup. So save these, and plus they're pretty. I have mine in a jar back there. So I start in the order of application when I set up mine. Let's actually move this up there. There we go. So this is my main foundation shade. Most likely you have a main shade and then you have a brightening shade. And I like to put these side by side, even though that's not the order I apply it always. That way you know which one is which, because if they're scattered in your palette, like let's say you have them like this, you're not able to tell which one is which. So I just prefer to have mine right next to each other, so then I can tell which one is the lighter shade. So there, now we have main, brightening, contour, and I personally like a couple of different lip and cheek. So today I have Royal, which is a gloss, and then I have Pink Grapefruit. And those are the colors that I picked today. So, and then I usually like a bronzer. You don't have to have one, most definitely, but this is my full face right here. Okay, so let's get started applying. So I'm going to use the domed end of my 3D brush, and I'm going to dab into my foundation. Never swipe. You will get way too much product and it won't lay down very nicely. So I just get a little bit, and I don't put it all over my face. I just focus it on areas that I have a lot of scarring, a lot of redness, which is mostly in my cheeks and my chin and in my nose. There are many methods for applying this. I'm sure you've seen, the dot method, the cheetah hack method. Those are not ideal for mature skin. You end up using too much product and you won't like the end result. So I do it that way sometimes. If I'm in a big hurry and I need makeup on quick, I will do it that way, but it's really not ideal. 30-year-olds can get away with it, but I'm 55 and it just doesn't look very good on me. I like more of a light to medium coverage. So that looks pretty good to me. This is when I do like to go in with that moistened beauty blender. And I just pick up any excess. I just kind of bounce it all over my skin. This is Seint's Perfector Sponge, but you can get any beauty blender. Just make sure it's damp. You don't want it too wet. So I usually get this really good and damp and wringed out with the towel, and then I'll sit it out. It's like I have this little cup here, and I sit it just like that so it kind of air dries. So when I'm ready for it, it's good to go. Okay, now let's go ahead and do a little bit of brightening. I really only brighten down the center of my face. And I'm going to leave some of this here because I will blend the rest out after I have my contour on. But that's really it. Because I use Demi under my eyes, but if you do want brightening under your eyes, just do a little bit on the inner and the outer corner, and then take your main shade, and pop that in the center of the under eye. And that way you don't have too much brightness under the eye. As we mature, we don't really need to go very bright there. Okay, so now let's do some contour. So I'm going to use this end of the 3D brush, but I first want to show you placement. So for your cheekbones, you want to go from the top of your ear to the corner of your mouth. And that line right there is where you want your contour, and you don't want it to go past the outside of your eye. So I am going to go into my contour. I'm going to squeeze, and I just place it right there. This is ash. It's not a real deep contour, but I like more of a subtle contour. And then we just blend that up into our hairline. I always move mine out of the way because I have a little bit of blonde in the front, so. But it's just a real pretty color, and I'm gonna leave that there for now. So you could also easily use your fingers, and just use your fingers and draw it. I'm gonna use this finger. I'm a lefty. And you just go in with the brush. But it's just such a pretty, I love ash. It's not too warm, it's not too cool, and it's just very subtle, and it looks so good next to the brightening. So now I will bring that brightening up, and then I'll bring the contour down, and they just kind of marry. Let's see, let's leave the contour there for now, because when we put on our lip and cheek, we'll blend out the rest of that. Okay, now let's do the jaw. So I have jowls, so I like to go with the contour in front of the jowl, and then underneath the jaw. Same over here. And then I have a bit of a turkey neck, so I put it down there. But when I contour, because of the jowl, I stay out of this dip, and sometimes I will go in with just a little bit of that brightening. I think I got a little too much. But I'll put the brightening there because bright light brings things forward, dark recedes. Okay. I was going to use the Royal on my cheeks, but I think I'm going to do something different. I'm going to use my Bella bronzer and then Pink Lemonade. Let's see how this looks. And when I blend this in, I'm also blending in that contour. Oh, that is so pretty. Let's add a little bit more of that Pink Lemonade. Very pretty. Same over here. Bella and Pink Lemonade. The Pink Lemonade is so pink that I like to add something a little deep with it. And these are so pigmented. I mean, you don't need much. Add a little bit more. So pretty. But now let's do a little bit of that Royal on our lips. Pretty. Okay, now let's tackle our under eyes. So I have some demi colors right here that I like to use. And today I'm going to use the spot brush. If you don't have a demi brush, you could always use, let me see if you can see this, a arts and crafts brush, like $3.99 at Hobby Lobby, I believe. But you could use this. I love our demi brushes. All of our brushes are double-ended, but the demi brushes are designed for demi. So I'm going to use this brush today, but I have 3 colors here. This one right here is called NR-1, and how I like to use it is I get a little bit on the fluffy brush, and then I just do a light feather wash of this under the eye, and already it looks so much better. This it's like some kind of voodoo magic. It lightens the darks and darkens the lights. It's like a toner. And it works well too for redness. So I like it, you know, right in this area where my eyeball is sinking into my skull. Already they look so much better. So now I'm going in with this orange. This is 03 or Orange 3. And the orange will cancel out the blue. And so just getting a little bitty bit. I don't know if you can see how little I have. And then I just place this on that dark circle. And then I take that fluffy end and just lightly blend that out. And what dark circle? So if you don't have a demi brush, use your art brush. Let's do the other eye with this brush. So you just get a little bit, get a little more. I was being too gentle. Move my phone. And then you're going to place it on that darkness, and then just use your finger to soften that. I do get a little darkness out here, and I just take a little bit of that orange right there. This side isn't so bad. Now, the next thing I like to do with my demi is I have just a faint little 11s, and I like to go in with this yellow. I mean, it's just almost like a shadow. And I'm just now just going to feather that in. And it just tones down those 11s. Okay. And then I like to do a little bit of the yellow on my dents, because yellow is the opposite of purple. So I'm pretty sure the dents had some purple in them. I got too much. These demi colors, they're about 90% pigment and a little bit of beeswax. Very pretty. I'm going to add a little bit more blush, a little bit more of that pink, just on my apples. Is that not so pretty? And I like a little bit of bronzer on my nose and on my chin. Just adding a little bronzer right here just to add some warmth. This is Bella. And if you wanted bronzer, you can get and save about $10. You can get the blush bronzer collection and get the blush bronzer brush and the bronzer and save about $10, I believe. Let that nose out a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to go in with our setting powder just in my T-zone, and then where I have those dents and where I put the demi. And that is it. Okay, so I hope this has helped explain how to set up your palette. And I do offer 20-minute, at least 20 minutes, usually it's longer, Zoom or FaceTime with you just to go over any questions you have and walk you through makeup application. And because I want you to love this makeup. And I want to make sure you have everything you need to be set up to love the makeup. So please reach out if you have any questions whatsoever. That's what I'm here for. And I really do hope you love it. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.